Your brain is already living 3 seconds ahead of you. There's this woman driving home from work, same route she takes every day. She's not really thinking about the road. She's replaying something her boss said earlier, wondering if it meant what she thinks it meant. Her hands are on the wheel, but her mind is somewhere else entirely. And then, without even noticing, her foot moves to the brake pedal half a second before the car in front of her slows down. She didn't see brake lights. She didn't make a decision. Her body just knew, and only after her foot is already pressing down does she consciously realize what's happening. That gap between what your body does and when you notice it, that's your brain predicting the future. And it's doing it constantly, thousands of times a day, without you having any idea it's even happening. People think prediction is something fancy, like fortune telling or weather forecasting. Something you sit down and actively do. But your brain is running predictions the same way you're breathing. Automatically, relentlessly. It's not optional. It's literally how you experience reality. Because here's the thing nobody tells you. You're never actually experiencing what's happening right now. You can't. There's a delay built into how your senses work. Light has to hit your eyes, convert to electrical signals, travel through your optic nerve, get processed by different parts of your brain, assembled into something coherent. That takes time. Not much, maybe a few hundred milliseconds, but enough that by the time you're aware of something, it's already in the past. So if you were only reacting to what you could sense, you'd always be a little bit behind. You'd reach for a coffee cup and miss because it moved slightly. You'd try to catch a ball and it would be gone. You'd be living in a permanent lag, like trying to play a video game with terrible internet connection. Your brain can't afford that. So instead, it guesses. It takes everything it knows, everything it's learned, every pattern it's ever noticed, and it builds a model of what's probably about to happen. And then it shows you that model, not reality. The prediction. Think about it like this. When you watch a movie and someone throws a ball, you see a smooth arc through the air. But really, that ball is only on screen for a few frames. Your brain is filling in all the space between those frames. It's predicting where the ball should be based on where it was, and it makes it look continuous and smooth. That's what it's doing with everything. Your entire experience of the world is your brain's best guess about what's happening. And most of the time, your brain is right. So right that you don't even notice it's guessing. That woman in the car, her brain has driven that route hundreds of times. It knows that intersection, knows that time of day, that cars slow down there. So when it sees a car ahead, even before brakes come on, it's already calculating probabilities. And when those probabilities cross a certain threshold, it just acts. Brake now. Don't wait for confirmation. This is why you can catch something you knock off a table without thinking. Your brain saw your hand move, predicted the trajectory of the object, calculated where it would be and when, and fired off the muscle commands to put your other hand there, all before you consciously registered that anything was falling. The prediction is faster than your awareness, but here's where it gets strange. Your brain doesn't just predict physical things. It predicts everything. What people are going to say before they finish their sentence. How a conversation is going to go before it starts. Whether that noise in the other room is dangerous or not. What you're going to feel in 5 minutes. What tomorrow is going to be like. Every single moment, your brain is running simulations of the immediate future and matching them against what's actually happening. And when reality matches the prediction, everything feels smooth and normal. You don't notice anything. But when reality doesn't match, that's when you feel something. That jolt you get when someone says something unexpected. That's not just surprise, that's your brain throwing an error message. The prediction was wrong. Reality didn't line up, and your brain hates that because wrong predictions in the past danger. The rustling in the bushes that you predicted was wind, but turned out to be a predator. Your ancestors who ignored prediction errors didn't survive. So, your brain makes you pay attention when predictions fail. It releases a burst of neurochemicals that sharpen your focus and make you notice things. Suddenly, you're present. Suddenly, you're alert. Because something in the world isn't behaving the way your model says it should, and that might matter. This is why new experiences feel so vivid and time seems to slow down. It's not that time actually slows. It's that your brain can't predict what's coming next. So it can't skip ahead. It has to process everything consciously, moment by moment, instead of running on autopilot. When you're doing something familiar, your brain is predicting so accurately that it doesn't bother showing you most of the details. It just gives you the highlights. But when everything is new, every detail matters because your brain is building a model from scratch. And this is why life feels like it speeds up as you get older, not because time changes, but because you've seen more, done more, experienced more patterns. Your brain gets better and better at predicting, which means more and more of your life gets processed automatically, without conscious attention. Whole days can go by on autopilot because your brain predicted them so well that it didn't bother making you aware of most of it. But there's something deeper happening here. Your brain isn't just predicting what's going to happen outside of you. It's predicting what you're going to feel, what you're going to want, what you're going to want, what you're going to do. This sounds impossible, right? How can your brain predict what you're going to feel when you are your brain? But it works the same way. Your brain has learned patterns about yourself. It knows that when you haven't eaten in a while, you get irritable. It knows that talking to certain people makes you tired. It knows that scrolling your phone before bed makes it harder to sleep. It's collected all this data over years, and now it uses that data to predict your own internal states. And then here's the really weird part. Once it makes that prediction, the prediction itself influences what happens. If your brain predicts you're going to be anxious in a social situation, it starts preparing your body for anxiety. Heart rate goes up a little. Muscles tense. Attention narrows. And then you walk into the situation already halfway to anxious, which makes it more likely you'll actually feel anxious, which confirms the prediction, which strengthens the pattern for next time. It's a loop. Your expectations literally shape your experience, not because of some mystical power of positive thinking, but because your brain is constantly trying to minimize prediction and errors. And sometimes the easiest way to minimize an error is to make reality match the prediction, instead of updating the prediction to match reality. This is why your mood in the morning can determine your whole day. Your brain wakes up and runs a prediction about what kind of day it's going to be, based on how you feel right then. What happened yesterday, what you've got planned, and then it subtly steers your behavior and attention to confirm that prediction. If it predicts a bad day, you notice more things that are annoying. You interpret neutral events more negatively. You make small choices that lead to worse outcomes, not on purpose, just because your brain is trying to be consistent with its model. And you can feel this happening if you pay attention. That sense that you just know something is going to go wrong before it does. That's not premonition. That's your brain running a prediction, and then accidentally helping it come true by making you more cautious, more tense, more likely to make the exact mistake you were worried about. People think this means they're broken or cursed or that they have bad luck. But it's just how prediction works. Your brain is so committed to its models of reality that it bends your perception to fit them. It's not trying to hurt you. It's trying to make sense of the world as efficiently as possible. And being consistent with past patterns is efficient, even when those patterns are making you miserable. This is also why it's so hard to change. Because change requires your brain to update its predictions, and updating predictions is expensive. It takes energy and attention. It means admitting that the old model was wrong, which triggers that error response, which feels uncomfortable. So your brain resists. It keeps using the old predictions as long as they're even sort of working, even if they're making you unhappy. Because unhappy but predictable feels safer than unknown. And other people can sense this too, by the way. Not consciously, but their brains are also running predictions about you. They've built a model of who you are based on past interactions. And when you try to change, when you act differently than their model predicts, they get that same error signal. It makes them uncomfortable, so they'll push back, try to get you to act normal again, because normal means predictable and predictable feels safe. This is why growth is so lonely sometimes. You're not just fighting your own brain's predictions about yourself. You're fighting everyone else's predictions about you too. But here's what's kind of beautiful about all this. Your brain can learn. It updates its models constantly based on new information. Every time a prediction is wrong, that's data. That's a chance to adjust. And if you deliberately expose yourself to situations where your old predictions don't work, where reality keeps contradicting what your brain expects, eventually the model has to change. It has no choice. This is why experience changes people, not because of what happens to them, but because repeated exposure to something new forces their brain to build different predictions. The person who's terrified of public speaking, if they keep doing it anyway, their brain eventually has to admit that the prediction of disaster isn't accurate. Not because they got brave, just because the data piled up. And once the prediction changes, everything downstream changes too. The preparation response changes. The attention changes. The interpretation of events changes. Suddenly, the same situation feels completely different. Not because the situation is different, but because your brain is predicting something different about it. So maybe the future isn't really out there waiting for you. Maybe it's in here, being constructed moment by a brain that's desperately trying to stay one step ahead. And maybe the only way to change your future is to mess with the predictions. To deliberately do things that don't fit the pattern. To collect evidence that contradicts the model your brain has been using. Because your brain will believe what you show it, eventually. It might fight you for a while, keep falling back on the old predictions, because they're familiar and cheap to run. But if you're patient, if you feeding it data that doesn't match, the model has to shift. And when it does, you won't just see the world differently. You'll see different worlds entirely. Possibilities your old predictions never even considered.